Is he texting and watching a video at the same time?
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm texting and watching a video at the same time.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
And yet I'm doing it.
Yeah. Nice.
Introducing the new Samsung Galaxy S3.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Lester Holt. It stumped police for years, the case of a young college student who'd gone missing. But they'd finally get their big break from a very small thing. Take a look at this photo. There's a key clue here, a single detail spotted by an eagle-eyed detective. And that's what helped him turn this 9-year mystery into a slam dunk case. Watch now and see exactly how he did it. Here's Josh Mankiewicz.
Sometimes the facts are as clear as the Southern California sky. But other times, you have to know where to look to see the truth. This man has made a career of noticing what others do not.
What's his reputation?
A meticulous investigator. Just pores over the volumes of evidence and finds things that other investigators did not find.
The evidence whisperer.
Correct.
So that night I went out dancing.
Does this man act guilty?
Since I knew Lindsay, I think.
Does he know more than he's saying?
I mean, I didn't know anything was going on. All right? I just said, where's Lindsay? Okay?
What about this man? Can you believe the story he's telling?
I was supposed to pick her up twice, and she was so out of character, she didn't show up on either day.
The evidence whisperer wasn't present at either of those interviews, but watching them helped him solve the mystery of what happened to a vivacious young woman and bring answers to the mother who loved her.
I was always proud of her. She was a real fighter.
Lindsay Eklund arrived on July 22, 1980. She was the youngest of 3. Maybe that fighting spirit isn't visible in her photos, but her mother Nancy says it was always there. Lindsay had a passion for animals. She helped out in her spare time at a local shelter. Kim Davidson, who worked at Lindsay's middle school, remembers young Lindsay also had a sense of compassion.
I was standing outside, I was freezing cold, and I didn't bring a jacket that day. And I felt these little hands up on my shoulder, and a sweater come up around me, and I turned around, and it was Lindsay. And she said, I just can't stand sitting here watching you shiver, and just wrapped me up in her sweater. She just melted me.
And Lindsay gave back in other ways. Her mother says Lindsay would lie about her age so she could give blood. Remarkable in itself because Lindsay struggled with her own disabilities. Her left arm was paralyzed, her left leg impaired.
Did she ever talk about how she became disabled?
She had brought it up to me and said that she was in a car accident and that she was thrown and when she was a little girl, but very, very, just like matter of fact, didn't, not poor me or not feel sorry for me or anything like that.
But growing up, Lindsay needed so much care. Her mother Nancy was with Lindsay like her shadow.
Somebody had to be with her 24 hours a day.
And that was you?
Yes. It was her and I alone. She was my only purpose in my life, is to make her as normal as she could be.
By the time Kim met Lindsay, Lindsay's dad and brothers had moved away. Kim remembers a very tight family unit of just 2.
How close were Lindsay and Nancy?
Unbelievably, extremely.
But as Lindsay reached adolescence, that started changing. Like a lot of teens, she wanted her own identity. She changed the spelling of her name from this to this. By high school, there were girlfriends, even some boyfriends. And by the time she was 20, after so many years of mom and daughter being each other's best friends and confidants, Lindsay began to keep some things in her life to herself, like where she was really headed one night in February 2001.
Does it make any sense that she would lie to you about what she was going to do that night?
I've never known her to lie to me, but you don't know what you don't know.
It was a Friday night. Lindsay was in college part-time and working, but still living at home. She told her mom that instead of their usual Friday night dinner, she was staying the night with a girlfriend named Andrea, someone Nancy had never met. And then a young man named Chris came to the door to pick Lindsay up.
The last thing I said to her was, remember your seatbelt, and she looks over her shoulder and she says, back at you, Mom, love you. It's the last thing she said to me.
Nancy locked up the house and went to bed. The next day, Lindsay was supposed to call after she was done tutoring 2 girls from the neighborhood. But when the call never came, Nancy drove over and found out Lindsay never showed up at her job.
All of a sudden, my daughter is not where she's supposed to be. She had taught these little girls like for 4 months about.
And you have no way of reaching her?
I had no way.
Nancy Eklund was frantic.
I started calling hospitals. I called the morgue. I mean, that's how desperate I was. See if there was a Jane Doe in the morgue.
There was no Jane Doe. And there was no Lindsay Eklund.
Most people who disappear like that, they come back within a couple of days.
If not 24 hours, yes.
Is that what you thought was going to happen?
I think we did.
Corrine Loomis is a detective with the Placentia Police Department.
You had no unidentified bodies.
We had no unidentified bodies.
You checked the ER.
We checked everything. We checked everybody. We checked everything. There was just no sign. It was just as if she vanished.
When we come back, Lindsay had a secret that she'd kept from just about everyone.
When's the last time you saw Lindsay?
A week ago.
No, I don't think so.
When the night Lindsay disappeared continues.